Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be planting some garlic in the raised beds here. I have raised bed mix trying to top off some of the beds here. I didn't want to go get it in bulk just because we've been getting a lot of rain and I really don't want to have to be having my buckets in the truck and just heavy dirt because right now it would be really wet, the soil. But I bought some raised bed soil mix and I'm probably going to be putting some of the garlic, maybe one or two in a bed here and there. I just have to be careful to keep garlic away from certain varieties of vegetables. I think peas, sugar snap peas and peas in general is one that you do not want to put garlic next to because it actually stops the growth of the peas and you're not going to get good plants. But other ones, they're actually really good companion plants. They're awesome for fighting aphids and a lot of other type of pests and insects from your garden. They repel it pretty much. The aphids can't stand the smell of garlic, so they keep them away. So I'm probably going to be putting some garlic, maybe two on each end of the bed of things like kale and cabbage. Those two are the biggest aphid, infested vegetables that I have to deal with here in my climate. I'm at 8B in the Pacific Northwest. Sorry, in probably an hour north of Seattle. So right here I have two varieties. I have soft neck and hard neck. In the soft neck variety, it's an artichoke type and it's called, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm pretty sure, Incellum red. I'll put a little screenshot of what I have here. So for a soft neck variety, it does not produce scapes like the hard neck. Soft necks also have a little bit more bulbs and they're just a little bit easier to peel as a soft neck variety. Soft neck is a really good one that you would be able to store for long term. You're looking from anywhere from 6 to 12 months if you're lucky, but I would probably say 6 to 9 months. Soft neck variety also comes with smaller cloves, so you're going to get a lot more little cloves in it and they're going to be easier to peel, and just overall they're more of a mild type of flavor. They're not going to be too pungent, I guess. And you could get soft neck variety. Almost every grocery store is what they actually have because they need to last a lot longer in the grocery store. Also, soft neck variety, you could braid them. It doesn't have that hard stem like hard neck varieties. So you could braid them. You could, both. You could freeze them, can them, do whatever you want. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything else. But overall, they both are planted the same way on the depth. You're looking from anywhere from 2 to 4 inches deep, depending on how cold your climate is. I'm probably going to take the middle ground and going 3. You want to space them anywhere from 4 to 8 inches for spacing, and I'm probably going to go 6 right in the middle. And you need to make sure that you plant it deep enough, because if you don't, you're actually not going to get that big of a bulb. And since the winters are cold, it might start softening and kind of rot your garlic if you do not plant them deep enough. And also, if you do not plant them, space them out, it's going to hinder the growth of the size of the garlic. You could put garlic in, beds here and there, just so that they can fight off aphids. Oh my gosh, I am having trouble with words today. Anyways, so I'm probably going to put 2 garlics, 1 on each end when I'm planting things like kale and cabbage. Those are the 2 plants that I have the worst problems with aphids on. Sometimes I'll have problems with corn later in the season, but that's usually if I have overhead water. But if I have the drip line like I did this last year, I didn't get any aphids. It could be that they didn't find them yet, but who knows. Okay, so let's see, let's move on to the hard neck. So that's my one variety of soft neck that I had. They did not have that much soft neck. I think it was this and another one, but it was not considered an actual garlic. That other one that they had, I think it was more considered a leek, and I just wanted garlic. And I bought, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packages of the soft neck, and they come with 2 bulbs in each one. Usually my co-op has these in bulk where I could just put them in a paper bag, but I guess the grower no longer does that, and they just have them in these bags ready to grab. And then let's see how many it usually comes with. So this variety is for zone 4 to 9. These get 12 to 18 inches tall. Let's see if it says how many. And then it says just a pound of these garlic cloves can produce 7 to 10 pounds of garlic. You do want to fertilize garlic. Usually they're kind of a heavy feeder. First growth in the spring, put down some fertilizer for them so they could get that boost of energy to start growing for the season. Usually you could harvest garlic when the tops of the plants start kind of dying back, similar to onions. And that's usually probably around like late June and mid-July, depending on what growing zone you are from. So let's see if it says 4 inches deep, 6 inches apart for growing, and it does not say, am I looking at this right? Let's see. Yeah, it does not say how many comes in each one, but usually the ones that come in these packets for, or not packets, but for these cloves and garlic bulbs, they actually come with a lot more garlic cloves for a soft neck. The hard neck does not come with as many, but the hard necks are actually bigger for the garlic cloves, so they're a little bit easier to chop up and mince versus having a lot of different small bulbs, because it's a little bit faster, I think, to peel the hard necks, but the peel on the hard necks are harder than the soft necks. And a thing about the hard necks, they don't last as long, like for storage life. You're probably looking at anywhere from like 3 to 7 months, depending on what variety you're getting. Also, hard necks have a really hard stem that goes up the middle of the bulb, and they actually produce a thing called scapes. Scapes you could eat, you could use it in all your meals, and as like a garnish, you could saute them, you could grill them, you could can them, pickle them, anything you could pretty much do with any other type of like seasoning and herbs type of thing. I believe you could even dry them out and have them like as a powder, kind of like what you would do with garlic powder, onion powder, things like that. They do have like a garlicky taste, which is kind of nice. Well, I would say more like onion to garlicky taste. So do not eat the flower when it produces flower. As soon as it starts producing the flower for the hardneck variety, you want to cut that off because it's wanting to go to seed, and you do not want your garlic cloves to go to seed unless you're saving the seeds. But let's see if I'm thinking anything else. You do not need to trim these like onions. Sometimes onions you trim them, like give them a little haircut. You don't need to do that for this. You just kind of let them go and forget about them. They don't really get infested with any pests, you know, or at least not in my area. And I think they're pretty easy, you know, to plant because you're at the end of this season, you know, in fall, and you could put them in your beds and forget about them until next spring, and then you fertilize them from there. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. And you want to kind of get the biggest bulbs that you can and the biggest cloves you can when you plant. The little ones, I would say you could still plant them if you have space. The little ones I'm probably going to be putting in the other beds because I'm going to be using those as more like a repellent type of plant. But I guess we could get going on this one. So the soft neck variety I have in Chillum Red, and I already said that one. This variety here is a marbled purple stripe type. This is a Dagunsky, and I'm probably saying that wrong. And every single one of these packs come with two bulbs, and I got 4 packs of that. And then I also got a purple stripe type. This is Krangusker. Dusker Red. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. I have no clue. I don't know who names these. But Okay, so let's get these out, open up. I'm going to be prepping the soil real quick. First, I already have amended this bed with compost. I probably don't even need to put fertilizer, but I have a little bit of fertilizer here just to sprinkle in, and I'm probably actually okay with just the compost, but I just want to give it a little bit more of a boost just in case later in the season I don't get to fertilizing these right away. But okay, let's get going. Okay. Just going to do a little bit of fertilizer. I probably should have put this down before I start really mixing, but it's okay. We get a lot of rain here, so we don't need to water this in because probably in 2 days it's going to start downpouring again. Okay, that's probably enough. Yeah, I could have waited probably until mid-November, but I figured I should be making a garlic video for you guys. And so then I don't have to be in a rush also later on, because I know it is planting season for garlic for a lot of other climates that are colder than I am. Also, some of the varieties that you'll find, you'll want to look it up in your own area because some of them are a lot more cold tolerant. So if you're kind of in the Midwest area and you get really cold winters, at least it will be able to be safe and they won't die back in your soil, some of the garlic cloves. Okay, now I'm going to be opening these up. And I want to separate them. And different types of soft neck varieties will have different counts of cloves. This one doesn't look like they have a lot. Also, your cloves could be, or your bulbs could be a lot bigger than this, depending on what type you get and the grower. You do not want to plant the garlic cloves you get in the store the first year. Usually, I always buy seed stuff at the first year, and then from there I'll save the garlic bulbs, the last few, for the following year. So I'm trying to keep these ones separate from all my other garlic when I do harvest them, so I know what type of variety I have for next fall when I want to plant these. Okay, I'm going to take off my gloves, might be easier. Okay, so you just want to open up all these cloves. You want to keep the skin on as much as possible, or the peel on these. So this is an example about a small clove that if you don't have a lot of space, you might not want to plant these, because this is the type of thing that you want bigger, the better for when you plant these. The smaller ones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them into my other beds to fight off those aphids. This one's a little bit on the small side. We'll see about that one. But if you have the space, just plant them all. No big deal. Also, another thing you want to make sure you're looking for when you're picking out your cloves is that they're firm. You do not want any squishy, soft cloves, because that means that they're going to be rotting through the winter and they're not going to come up, and you just don't want to waste your money when you get cloves. But there are places you could get them online too. There is, let's see, I guess Rare Seeds. Oh, well, I guess they're called Baker Creek now. I think Johnny Seeds also sells them, and other online places. Even Amazon sells these. I bought them off of Amazon before, just because I needed that quick shipping, and for the fact that my stores around me already sold out. I was very lucky when I went to the co-op, because they just got their second shipment of garlic cloves, and the shipment before they sold out so fast. So this one, you can see that the peel kind of came off a little bit. I'm still going to throw it in the ground. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Just checking to see if they're soft. Okay, so this is a good example of something like a clove that's no good. You can see it's soft, it's already rotting away. I am not going to be planting that one. But the other ones around it were fine. So this is how much I got from 14 bulbs, garlic bulbs. Okay, so I got all my cloves peeled. When you plant these in the ground, it's kind of like a raindrop. The fatter side will go down, and you can see there's a pointier side here. And this was the rooted side. So this side, the rooted side will face down. When you measure 4 inches, it's actually 4 inches from the bottom of this. So what I did was I took a tool, I measured 4 inches, took a Sharpie, drew my line, and then I could just start poking my holes and then bury them. I also have my yardstick for planting, so then I can measure out. This is like a painting stick you could get at like any painting store. So I'm going to come over here and maybe I'll line it up with my drip zone. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to lay out and put down my drip system, drip lines. So at least I kind of see where I need to plant. This one I have to kind of bring over a little bit. Okay, so I'm probably going to be putting down my first clove here. That's about 3 inches in from the side of the bed and probably about 4 inches from the end of the bed. And then from there, I'm going to move 6 inches. So there's going to be one here and one here and one here. So I'm going to be able to get 4 in this 2-foot wide bed, and poke my hole. A lot of times now that I've been gardening for so long, I actually don't have to measure the width. I usually come out like this and I'm like, oh, there we go, there we go. That's how I measure a lot of things, kind of like guesstimating. Okay. Now I'm just going to go down and create a grid. You could actually alternate these. It might even be better to alternate these, but it's up to you. Usually when I am planting in general, I just use my 2 fingers and do my holes like that. Oh well. But since I'm making this video, I just want to show you guys the correct spacing. I probably overestimated how many cloves when I went and bought them in the store. So we will see how many beds of garlic I'm going to be planting this year. But garlic is really nice because you harvest them early, so it actually gives it forces you to keep room for your fall crops, which is really nice. So when all your other crops are just taking off and you got a long summer of all those veggies and you want to be able to put in fall crops later on, and sometimes you find out that you've already filled up all your space with all your summer crops. So this will kind of allow you to have whatever beds that you have the garlic and force you into actually being able to have enough space for your fall crops. Okay, so the skinny side, the pointy side up, the fat rooted side down. Just pop these all in the hole. Okay, let's track. Yeah. Okay, I am going to put these back in my bag so I can figure out another bed to stick all these in. I'll put my small ones in there too and pick them out later for the other beds. I'm trying to clean out the beds this year a little bit early, so at least next spring I am just ready to go. I want to show you the stem that goes through the middle of your hardneck right here. When during the spring you'll see sometimes it's curly, sometimes it's straight, but as soon as you see the flower at the top of that, you want to cut it off. You do not want it to go to seed, but you can cut off the scapes whenever. You can eat them or not, it's up to you, but this is what goes through the center of these garlic cloves. Okay, so right in the middle of that clove, I don't know if you can see that, there is a stem. Let me take this one off too. You can see that right there. That is the stem of the hardneck that goes right in the middle. And it is very hard. You cannot braid these. So if you're wanting to braid your garlic, do not get the hardneck ones. But I am just going to plant the rest of these. I'm not going to be going super deep on this one because I still need to top off the soil a little bit more. So I'm probably going about like 2 inches down because I have about 2 more inches of soil I need to add, but I'll have to buy some more garden mix unless I end up going to the bulk place where you just get a truckload of dirt. But I'll bury these and then top them off later. Dude, these are so hard to peel. And that's why they call them hard necks. So far I've done 3 bulbs of garlic. And this is my 4th one. Oh, come on. And this is the variety, hopefully you can see that I am planting in this bed. Okay, so now you guys could see how hard it is to peel a hardneck type of garlic. I'll put the drip line in later after I top off this bed. Okay, so that's it. We just got done planting all of our garlic. It is 6 inches apart, 4 inches deep. You want to make sure that the root side goes down. Hard neck is shorter storage, soft neck is longer storage. Soft neck you could braid. And I also wrote a blog post on this, so look down in the description box and you'll find a link to a lot more detailed blog posts on how to plant garlic. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment down in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.